Welcome to my alt channel. Things are a bit more mellow here. Also, we talk about heavier topics. I hope you enjoy it. Subscribe if you like it. I don't know. We will cover 5 topics that will act as a compass towards living your best life, no matter your progress in transition.
Let me out of this closet!
Ignore that. The last topic will be the heaviest, but to navigate these difficult conversations, I have this therapist's chair.
Having a therapist chair does not make you an officially licensed therapist.
Topic number 1 is how to navigate and ultimately get past moments of peak dysphoria. Everyone has these lows, and nothing about yours makes you inferior to those around you.
Are you reading that from my book, you son of a... Your book! It's your book!
Then here's a list of thought processes and actions to help you get out of your spiral. Choose whichever ones resonate. First, understand the most important thing is to separate yourself from those thoughts with grounding exercises. This means anything that requires your focus, like a game, a hobby, or talking to a friend, or reaching out to a support network. Does that sound obvious? Yes, but you already know when you're in this mindset, it's far from obvious. Maybe you're stuck thinking about what if and if onlys. Maybe you're stuck in front of a mirror trying to reassure yourself it's not as bad as it is in your head. First of all, it isn't. We talk about self-image later, which will help with this. Second of all, this is when you need to recognize the need for a grounding activity. In the meantime, here are 4 things you need to remind yourself when you're in those moments of peak dysphoria. 1, comparing yourself to what you see is unhealthy, especially when people may know more about makeup, be using filters, or even just ideal camera angles and lighting. But if you ever do find yourself doing that, just understand that women do that literally all the time. We just do that all the time. Trans or not, it's a thing that happens, and it's very unhealthy. 2, the women you look up to who have transitioned still feel like you do from time to time, so feeling this way does not make you inferior. 3, remember progress takes time. Even if you're later in transition, things like learning makeup or exercise offer avenues to progress as well. 4, and as cliche as it may sound, it's really important that you do remind yourself of the progress you have made. So when I say you're valid, deal with it, it's no longer a kind gesture, it is a threat. Alright, next topic is let's talk about the importance of goals. Having goals that can help with gender affirmation allow you to have control over aspects of your transition, which is incredibly important. Maybe your goal is to work out, learn makeup, voice train. Whatever it is, you need to have one and you need to stick to it. The mental health benefits of working towards a goal in parallel with the fact that they can directly alleviate certain areas of dysphoria is just too impactful to ignore. The goal I'm advocating for here is a personal goal that is going to benefit your overall confidence in transition, which kind of sort of transitions into our next topic, self-image. Self-image has more power over what we see and how we see ourselves than I think most people really appreciate. You've seen times where bodybuilders or the pursuit of beauty and the pursuit of beauty through surgery has gone too far, no doubt. And that's because even at those high levels of pursuit, people can still feel exactly the way you and I do. So it's worth mentioning right here that if you get complimented on certain features but you don't see that in the mirror, it might just be your self-image, and what other people see can be completely different. So for yourself, just try to know that your brain and self-image go hand in hand. Understand that looks aren't everything unless your brain decides to make them so, but also, and more importantly, listen to people's positive reassurance. If someone compliments you or says you're overthinking an aspect of your body, they may not just be saying that to make you feel better, and that's worth considering. Like, what I'm trying to say is maybe they're telling you the truth and you just can't really consider that because of your self-image being so tarnished. Confidence generally doesn't come from being attractive. Yes, it helps, of course, but I think real insecurities come from internalized shame. Recognizing where you feel that shame at the source and allowing yourself to know it's nothing to be ashamed about can be a big step towards feeling more confident. No one is perfect, and recognizing where we can grow as people is important, but just as much, it is important to recognize that as individuals, we're each valid in our wants and how we feel, despite what others might try to tell you. And speaking on our wants, that brings us to our next topic, allow yourself to explore. The reason why this topic is important is because it can be hard to take even small steps. Maybe it's because internally we don't see ourselves as ready, or we're waiting for a certain milestone. Maybe we're just afraid. But when it comes to exploring in a safe manner, and I don't mean going out and getting crazy one night, I mean buying clothes, trying on makeup for trans women, trying to lift weights for trans men, just as an example. Heck, even watching a TV show with the sole purpose of finding a gender-affirming role model. Simple stuff. It can add up. It's better to start dipping your toes in these small steps so later the big steps don't feel as daunting. It's also just really important to not put your life completely on hold because of a milestone you're waiting for in your transition. Okay, let's unpack family relationships. This really boils down to 2 points in my opinion. On one side, it is really important to try and maintain healthy relationships and communication. On the other side, it's important to also understand when to stop communicating with people, at least regularly, if they're constantly bringing you down. I'll get into details with both of those. So first, to maintain a relationship with family takes time and patience. It requires us to be willing to listen and temporarily compromise. What does this mean? Well, if you're to compromise with what they are comfortable with at first, this opens the door to building a strong foundation. It shows maturity, but also can invite compromise from them down the road. As an example, my dad didn't want to use my name, so I told him that is okay, knowing that over the course of a few years, he may warm up to it. He did, and he uses my name now all the time, but only because I worked so hard to maintain our positive relationship. It's really important that we try to be as mature and as strong as possible to build healthy communication and understanding with family. Even if you've been transitioning for years, there's always the opportunity to invite them to say how they feel and to listen to what they may be struggling with in this regard. Ultimately, they should do the same for you, and taking that first step to listening can open up their mind to doing the same for you. Now, if they respond with anger or it turns sour despite your sincere efforts, that brings us to the other side. On the other side, when it comes to family members that simply refuse to do so, it is ultimately a judgment call for you to make whether or not you want to associate with them. But furthermore, if they are manipulative or toxic, I believe assessing their position in your life is essential. Here are some things to look out for when it comes to manipulative family members. If they say they're going to use your new name but never do, then when you bring it up to them in a gentle and kind manner, they get mad or they treat you like a nuisance, they are manipulative and toxic. How is that manipulative? Well, it puts them in a situation where they don't have to take accountability for their actions while silencing you. It's also super common. When you're speaking about something that is important to you and you do so without hostility, if it feels like someone is trying to win this conversation, everyone loses. Like, if a parent only ever brings up how hard it is for them when you are in that vulnerable state, or they immediately get mad, or worse yet, bring up something that's irrelevant to push you into a position where you may feel the need to apologize, that is textbook gaslighting and manipulation. But when you're on the receiving end of it, you may get so caught up in their tactics that you don't even realize until later. Even worse yet, you may believe their narrative and disregard what was really important to begin with. Them listening to you, truly listening to you. Finally, understand this above everything else, and please listen close because this is the most important thing I think I've said in any video. When it comes to who you are, how you feel, there is no shame in this. When you try to express something important to you, it can hurt when someone reacts in a way that is less than ideal. Worse yet, it might make you feel small. It might make you feel like you're asking too much, but you're not. Asking for basic respect is all it boils down to. And when recognizing people may not understand, we also recognize that if someone loves you, they will understand they don't need to fully understand to be there for you. It's not on you to carry the burden of their internalized hatred. It's on them to recognize their flaws and to grow as a person. This is especially the case if you have been patient, you've listened, you've offered compromise, and you've tried to maintain a healthy relationship through communication. I guess the core of what I'm trying to say is you're not asking too much, and you're right to express how you feel, whether or not other people understand or want to understand. In summary, everything I said is right because I am sitting in a therapist chair, and you are not. Today's video sponsor is G-Subs. If you want to support, you can buy some of their delicious beverages. I drink it all the time. I'm keeping that taken. No one can stop me. But yeah, no, I do drink it like literally every day. It's replaced coffee for me and energy drinks. It's just so good. And if you like this channel, I don't know, subscribe, I guess is like what you gotta do, right? You know, gotta hit the buttons and stuff. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.